Players going to ground, putting their body on the line for this win, this all-important win in this group. Remember, 3 points here sees Belgium climb up the table in Pool A, currently in third place, would leapfrog England, who are currently in second on 7 points. They would join Australia on 9 points, but Australia and England, remember, still to play later this afternoon.
Santa Fresha trying to bulldoze his way through. For a player with so much skill, he's repeating the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different outcome.
I'm sure it's going to be quite enough to get them the goal, but they could get a penalty corner here if they can get the ball inside the D and force a foul. Individual skill on display there from Rock Oliver.
Well, it's very similar to what Fresha was doing over the other side, just taking the ball to the air and then trying to charge through channels.
These players are not trying to charge through channels. They are deliberately lifting the ball into the bodies, legs of other players and then charging into them. That's 3 fouls. The idea that a ball-body contact is a foul is so ingrained in umpires they cannot see anything else. I mentioned in a previous video that when the FIH Rules Committee deleted as a standalone offence the offence of forcing in 2011, they declared that they did so because any such action could be penalised under other rules. But they did not include that statement in any form in any subsequent rulebook. So although forcing can and should be penalised, it isn't. In fact, most umpires are unaware that forcing is according to what the FIH Rules Committee had previously published and not retracted, an offence. There was a similar oversight following a declaration of intent to devise and enact rule in 1997-8, at the time the offside rule was deleted. This is what was printed in the preface of the 1997 rulebook. The board continues to explore ways of improving the flow of the game while retaining the fundamental pattern of play. Having considered the results of a worldwide trials of the offside rule, the board has decided to introduce a mandatory experimental rule under which offside is withdrawn. It is expected that the balance and influence will swing from defenders to attackers and will result in more goals. What this means is that the advantage will be given to the attackers and defenders will be disadvantaged. Lesser congestion around and in the circles and more flow in hockey with fewer stoppages is expected. I don't know why they expected those things. No offside rule obviously leads to more congestion in and around the circles and not to fewer stoppages, because the likelihood of dangerous play is increased. But this is the pièce de résistance of this statement. To prevent opponents from behaving in a potentially dangerous manner, their contact near the goal will be subject to constraints. This was what was written in the rule book preface in 1998. Current. The withdrawal of offside has been accepted as making a significant improvements to the game with fewer offences and more goals. It has now been made a rule. There is no mention at all of the constraints which were promised in the previous year. It is amusing as well as irritating to note that in the bottom section of this Experimental Rules 98 notice, as indicated last year, the alteration to the conduct of play within the 25 yards 23 metre area was not well received, as it appears to place the team taking the hit at a disadvantage. This experiment has now been terminated. This was an experiment to forbid players in the 25-yard, 23-metre area from being within 5 metres of a teammate taking a free hit. The amusement and irritation arises because 22 years later the Hockey Rules Board, then the FIH Rules Committee, reintroduced this as an experimental rule, and it has now been accepted into full rule. They have completely forgotten that this was a failed experiment more than 20 years ago. Let's have a look at what has happened as regards to constraining the actions of attackers close to the goal since 1997.
Lots of attack at both ends, into a body, penalty corner, and that's the right decision because the player was stopping a shot on goal. That's a beautiful move too, look. Great deflection, up into the body. If it hadn't been going towards the goal, it would have been a free hit to the defender for dangerous play. But because it was a shot on goal, if you're in the way, it's your bad luck in this game.
That lunatic invention at the 2008 Beijing Olympics from the commentator was followed in 2010 at the Women's World Cup by the same from the lips of an umpire. It's the same commentator.
Great chance here, China 2-on-1. Great save by Maria Lopez. Zhao Yudiao with the initial shot, and she really should have done better. This time she's had a shot that's hit Sanchez in the body, but because it was going towards the goal, it's a penalty corner to China. Sanchez saying, wasn't that dangerous? Umpire Esquina saying no, it was going towards the goal. So Spain don't have another video referral, so they can't ask for one. They're asking you to check with the other umpire.
Two constraints that could be placed on attackers seem fairly obvious. One is to curtail the opportunity for point-blank raised or volley hits, and the other is for raising the ball into the circle across the goal. The penalty corner rules prohibit the raising of the ball above knee height at a defender who is within 5 metres.
Oh, he's done wide this time. And what's been given here? I think it's going to have to be retaken.
That ball appears to me to be above knee height of the outrunning defender, which is dangerous play. I think the umpire ought to have given himself a video referral on this one. In open play, any raising of the ball towards an opponent who is within 5 metres is dangerous play. There is no height limit given for dangerous within Rule 9.9. This blasting of the ball by the Chinese player into the legs of the Argentinian player is penalised in a way that surprises both the players, but is correct, although most umpires would do exactly the opposite. This mishit into the legs of the German player by the Dutch player is reckless play, but nonetheless the umpire awards a penalty corner. Reckless play is play carried out without consideration for the safety of other players. Penalty corner rule 13.3m states that for shots with flicks, deflections and scoops, they may be made for any height, but they must not be dangerous. Danger is described in Rule 9.8 as the causing of evasive action, but common sense suggests that if a defender cannot take evasive action and is injured with the ball, that must be considered to be dangerous play. This is because from close range, evasive action is often impossible. Here, another example of a pass to a wide-in runner with a deflection. Obviously a pass and not a shot. And the deflection causes the defender on the line to take evasive action. That's dangerous play and should be penalised. If the umpire had taken a second or two to consider his decision in this incident, he mightn't have got it so horribly wrong. It was clearly planned that the right side attacker would move in and be in position to make a deflection. In fact, he breaks into the circle early, and that the first ball propelled from the top of the circle was a pass and not a shot at the goal. The ball was lifted directly into an opponent from within 5 metres. That is an offence, which also happened to injure the defender. A goal should not have been awarded. In this incident, an attacker raises the ball high into the body of a defender, considerably within 5 metres, and the umpire penalises the defender with a penalty stroke. A penalty corner would have been incorrect here. A penalty stroke is absurd. The shooter should have been penalised for dangerous play. The ball body contact of the defender can be ignored because the attacker had opportunity to play on with a clear shot at the goal.
Shivendra puts the ball across. There's a green card, which is a 2-minute suspension. Looks as though it's Steve Edwards.
This is a ridiculous decision by the umpire. That mishit ball was raised up into the New Zealand player from about 2 metres. That's dangerous play. The umpire could only give a green card for that contact if he thought it was deliberate. In the circumstances, that thinking is absurd. Here was an excellent example of constraints in action.
On the reverse stick, comes up, shot comes in from Anukras, and the save is made by Maria Ruiz, her first save of the contest. She had to be alert. Still.
Utterly astonishing that the umpire allows this attacker to put the ball up above her head with players within 5 metres of her and then take a smash at the falling ball towards the goal. The picture quality is poor and the frame rate is such that it's not possible to tell if this ball was struck outside or inside the circle as it was raised towards the goal. What is clear is that the Indian attacker closer to the goal deflects the ball into the body of the defender who is standing within 2 metres of him. That's dangerous play. The umpire penalised the defender.
No advantage for this. No. It's on the foot just before the line. Nee. Misschien een beetje te laat, maar voor mij is het oké. No discussion. No discussion.
You blow the whistle before he...
No discussion.
Wacht heel even. Voortaan, als je voordeel geeft, ja, dan geef hem weg. Hij slaat me gewoon helemaal dood.
You go for the video or you go back.
Je geeft voordeel, hij slaat nog een keer vol tegen me.
Okay, ready?
The defender is understandably furious. The first shot at the goal hit him on the leg, and a penalty stroke should have been awarded. But the umpire played advantage. The attacker came in and hit the ball dangerously into the defender, who was still lying on the ground, and then the umpire went back to the first contact and awarded the penalty stroke he should have awarded in the first place. His decision was bad enough. His refusal to discuss it was appalling. The ball is lifted directly at the defender from within 5 metres. The defender tries to evade it, but is hit just above the knee. The attacker had easy pass options available. The attacker commits a dangerous play offence. The umpire rewards him by awarding a penalty stroke. Here a hit is raised into a defender from point blank range and well above knee height, but the umpire possibly didn't see the height of the ball. Video referral confirmed the decision of penalty corner. Amazing. So, and look at another area of rule which the umpires have been told to forget about: the intentionally raised hit. Raising the ball intentionally with a hit stroke is an offence. It's an offence which should be penalised if it causes danger to opponents or if it disadvantages opponents. The disadvantages bit is completely forgotten by umpires. Here a defender makes a reverse edge hit out of defence, sending the ball in the air 40 metres or so. She should have been penalised with a penalty corner. Deliberate foul in the 23. In this incident, 2 occurrences of dangerous play by the attacking side resulted in the award of a penalty corner against the defending side. The original video formed part of the umpire coaching videos produced by the FIH umpiring committee and published on dartfish.com. The decision here was declared to be correct, which is astonishing. This foul, an intentionally raised hit which was not a shot at the goal, was ignored.
position there. Once more able to make the stop. And look at this. Clear space for Brinkman. Is it to be true?
Forget about the emphasis on dangerous play and player safety. This is all about spectacle and scoring goals. The player in light blue was penalised here, whereas it is the player in dark blue who commits a dangerous play offence. But it appears that in the minds of many umpires, ball body contact trumps everything that goes before it.